Neil O'Grady, osteopath, and today I'd like to explain to you a joint mobility exercise or a stretch for the joints in the thoracic spine. In particular, I suppose the region it will really focus on is your lower thoracics, maybe your T12. You might even get in some of your upper lumbars like your L1, L2, and you'll feel it up as far as maybe between your shoulder blades, which will be about T6. It will work maybe T5 up that far. What it is, some people get a lot of restriction in their thoracic spine, which will be kind of along here, the middle spine, and it's these little facet joints here. These little fingernail sized joints here can get tight and get restricted. They're called osteopathic lesions in the osteopathic world, where they get fixed in either rotation or side bending. And that's when a manipulation, you can hear a little cavitation or a pop. It's a restoration or release of those joints. Sometimes with this stretch, you'll get a little pop and a release, but it's a gentle stretch, it's not a manipulation. And what we're trying to do with this stretch, or this mobility exercise, is rotate the spine in opposite directions from top to bottom, much like squeezing out a cloth. So what you're doing is each facet joint has a little capsule around it, and the capsule is like a capsular ligament around the joint, like cling film, which is filled with a fluid like a egg white, a synovial fluid, which is a lubricating fluid. When you stretch the joint, it'll stretch the joint capsule. The cavitation is actually, they say, when you overstretch the capsule, you'll create a vacuum, and that will cause a little popping sound, which is called a cavitation. So what we're trying to do is just stretch those joint capsules, mobilize the thoracic spine, and hence give you more movement in it and less muscular ache and pain. Those of you who are in jobs where you're bent over like that for a long time and the postural muscles are firing to keep you upright, or you're in poor postures, as in bent with your spine not in a neutral position like that, in a C shape, that can really cause havoc and give a lot of stiffness and pain along here. Okay, so how do we do the stretch? So, find a chair with a low back. Sit down in the chair like so. Keep your feet planted firmly on the ground, just wide apart. So I'll start with this side. So I'll place one hand on the back of the chair. I'm going to use this hand to rotate myself as if I'm looking behind me. I don't need to turn my head. My head can just stay in line with my body. So I'm rotating like this. So effectively I'm rotating the top of my spine to my left. This hand can go on my left knee. This hand is pulling directly across to the right knee. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a counterforce with this hand, where I'm rotating the bottom of my spine this way. So I'm doing this kind of movement. So where I should feel this is on the spine. It's not so much a pure muscular stretch as it's a stretch for the articular surfaces of the facet joints. So one hand here, and simultaneously I place this hand here to pull myself around to my left, and place this hand here and pull across to the opposite knee. So I'll breathe in and I'll ease into it. I'm not going too hard. Pull up all the slack. I might breathe deeply a couple of times and see if it'll go a little bit farther, but I'm just coaxing it, and I'm holding it there, easing out of it, and then I'll repeat on the opposite side. So my right hand here, left hand on this knee, and I'm doing this movement. So this hand is rotating the upper body, and this is fixing the lower body and creating a counterforce from the bottom in the opposite direction. So I just got a little pop in my lower thoracic spine. Feels nice. And I'll ease out of it. And you can do that 3 or 4 times, and you can do it 3 or 4 times a day if you're in a job that you're seated all day. And if you're not, and your thoracic spine is just tight, this is one to have to use whenever you feel tight. So, if you like the video, please hit the like button. If you like the content and you'd want more, please subscribe. Thanks for watching. All the best. See you next time.